What is going on, everybody? It's not even Super Bowl Sunday yet, and here we are. Rumor season already set for takeoff. It's Ben Morgan, Fins Up Network, and as you have probably seen by now, reports already surfacing over the first couple of days of Super Bowl Sunday that Minnesota Vikings running back Dalvin Cook, one of the bigger names at the position in the league, could potentially be a cap casualty for the Minnesota Vikings. We've seen a few reports out there right now. So obviously, with our team needs, obviously running back is one of them. Offensive line is there, cornerback is there, linebacker is there. But you've got to throw running back in that mix because look at every single Miami Dolphins player that received a carry last year. I'm not talking about fullbacks or wide receivers. I'm specifically talking running backs here. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed, Myles Gaskin. Every single one of those guys slated to hit free agency in 2023. So yeah, running back is 100% a need. And you can't scroll through Twitter right now after seeing those reports without Dolphins fans speculating, talking about the possibility of Dalvin Cook joining this team this offseason in free agency if the Minnesota Vikings were to release him. But hey, guess what? Throw a little bit of fuel onto that fire because Tua's trainer, Nick Hicks, he also, keep this in mind, he also has trained Dalvin Cook in the past. So we got to try to know where to separate it. But adding fuel to the fire regardless, Nick Hicks goes ahead and quote tweets one of the tweets that had information about Dalvin Cook potentially being a cap casualty with the old big googly eye emoji. And yeah, it's googly eye, big emoji season as well, which I absolutely despise when players do it, when analysts do it. It just drives me berserk. I hate that. But hey, here we are. It's the offseason. It's big googly eye emoji season. So, hey, he added fuel to that fire as well with the speculation, obviously trying to tie the trainer, Tua, and Dalvin Cook together. So with that, I wanted to try to accomplish and talk about three things in today's video. One, looking at other top-tier free agents because running back class this year, it's fairly loaded, especially compared to some other positions and compared to seasons that we've seen in the past. Two, I want to look at the pros of signing Dalvin Cook if he were to be released from the Vikings. And three, the cons of signing Dalvin Cook if he were to be released from the Minnesota Vikings. So I've got on the scroll right there, it's a list of free agent running backs that saw 400 or more snaps from the 2022 NFL season. Now we talk about a loaded class. So look at these guys. Josh Jacobs, went ahead and led the NFL in rushing yards. Oh, in a contract year as well. No better timing for Josh Jacobs to do that. Then you got Tony Pollard, who has really come on the last couple of years, making Zeke Elliott look like an afterthought. Saquon Barkley, if you were to say, hey, build me a running back, you could just insert Saquon Barkley. The dude is chiseled. He gets it done on the ground. He's got the speed. He's got the catching ability. Dude's a freak. Miles Sanders, no slouch there when the Eagles don't ignore him, when they actually give him touches. He's been good. David Montgomery, Devin Singletary, the guys are out there. It is a pretty damn good list. And now kind of adding to that list as well, because we're not even talking about cap casualty guys, because it's kind of cap casualty season as well, as much as it's big googly emoji eyes as well. We already talked about Dalvin Cook. You're going to see some names floated out there, though. Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette, Zeke Elliott. There's going to be some guys whose names are floated out there. So you're definitely going to be seeing a little bit more of this, obviously, moving forward. Like I said, we haven't even hit the Super Bowl yet, and we're already talking about cap casualty running backs. So there's a lot of options at the position this year. And like you said, the Dolphins are going to need it. That running back room has a potential of looking pretty damn different if we don't re-sign a guy like Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson. We'll have to see how that goes. But like I said, I wanted to talk pros and cons as well. So let's start with the pros, because I talk about dropping down a running back from the heavens of football and it looking like Saquon Barkley. Well, you could put Dalvin Cook kind of in that category as well. 5'10", 210 pounds, 4 straight years with over 1,100 rushing yards. Now, if you look at those numbers, like, it's 1,100 yards. That's good, but it's not like the top tier running backs of the past. Well, granted, you're right, but at the same time, the NFL has evolved. We're not having guys routinely run for 1,500 plus yards on a routine basis here. The league has evolved to the point where we're seeing more passing. The rules are catered to be a scoring, passing league. So to run for 1,100 plus yards in 4 straight seasons, we cannot ignore that. But the production is there as well. 47 career rushing touchdowns. And guess what? In Mike McDaniel's system, you better be able to catch the ball from the running back position as well. And Dalvin Cook does that very well. Look at his history. He's going to get you 30 to 50 receptions. He's going to get you 200 to 400 receiving yards. And man, talk about that burst. We're talking about a 27-year-old running back, and I know everyone gets a little up in arms when it comes to age, and we'll get to that. But man, we saw that burst firsthand. When the Dolphins played the Vikings earlier this year, we bottled up Dalvin Cook. But I don't really put a lot of that on Dalvin Cook per se, because you know as well as I do, we were pretty damn good against opposing running backs last year. But Dalvin Cook, all it took was one. All it took was one. He found the seam. He got the burst one time, and it was off to the races because no one was catching him. He flew by. He essentially, I don't want to say he iced that game, but he essentially iced that game third, fourth quarter. And then you got the obvious connections as well. Born in Miami, went to college at Florida State, been one of the league's better, more consistent running backs the last handful of years when he's healthy. So let's start the con list there, because when healthy is one of those bigger caveats. Because last season, the first time that he has played a full season since being in the NFL, his previous 5 seasons, I'm going to go in order from most recent to his rookie year. Games played 13, 14, 14, 11, and 4. So if you look at those first 2 seasons, he was off to a great start his rookie year. He gets the knee injury. Obviously, he only played 4 games. Return only played 11 games. It hasn't been quite as bad recently. If you're looking at those last 4 seasons, he's missing 2 to 4 games per season. And it's almost like you can kind of live with that with today's age of running back by committee. But man, if you're going to fork over the money, which is the next con I'm going to talk about, you want a healthy guy. And we cannot ignore the fact that Dalvin Cook has a little bit of an injury history. And like I alluded to, the other obvious con is paying those big time dollars to that aging free agent running back. It typically doesn't pan out well when teams do this. He's 27 now. He's going to be 28 shortly before the season starts. I believe his birthday is in August. It's kind of irrefutable, though. When running backs kind of hit that 28 through 31-ish age range, they hit a wall. It happens. It might not happen quite as bad to Dalvin Cook because he's not a straight up always in between the tackles runner. He gets a little bit going with the passing game as well. But at the same time, maybe that's a con because he has tread left on the tires. He can be utilized. He is only 27 right now. So maybe you're not going to get that bargain bin price on a free agent running back when you're talking about a guy that's going to be 28 when the season starts. So that kind of goes against you as well. But then the other thing you got to keep in mind, we've got to look at our own salary cap. We got to look at our own needs. I talked about them already. The running back position, the offensive line, linebacker, tight end, secondary. If you sign a guy like Dalvin Cook, you are hindering specifically to the offensive side of the ball, a potential upgrade at left guard, at right tackle, because those are the obvious positions we think need an upgrade. And if we were to not upgrade at left guard, at right tackle, and we get Dalvin Cook, does that hinder your ability to fully unleash him? Does it hinder your ability to really maximize the guy that you invested in? So yeah, like I said, Dalvin Cook, he's the sexy name right now. He's the hot name. All the rumors are floating out about him. But that could realistically come down to the Dolphins front office having to make that decision. Do you pay the top tier free agent running back? And then do you live with a guy like Robert Jones or Liam Eichenberg at left guard and your Austin Jackson at right tackle? Do you live with that with Dalvin Cook? Or do you go back to the bargain bin at running back, and then you can hopefully add a couple of bodies at left guard, at right tackle, adding at least depth, hopefully a quality guy that you can plug and play at least one of those positions, and then let the other guys kind of battle it out in camp and throughout preseason. But that's the question that we're going to have to ask. And honestly, the news is still fresh enough. And like I said, we're not even to the Super Bowl yet. So I don't have a concrete position where I'm feeling, yep, we got to go get Dalvin Cook. Or no, we absolutely can't touch Dalvin Cook. But I at least wanted to point out a few things since the rumors have surfaced. We're in the offseason. It's speculation season. So I at least wanted to talk about that because, like I said, we're going to see it. Teams are hitting this offseason now. And guess what? It's cost-saving season. Like I said, we're going to see some decent-sized names being cut as teams get ready and get locked and loaded for the 2023 offseason. So I want to hear from you as well. If a guy like Dalvin Cook is released, Do you want to sign him? Or would you rather spend that money on the guys up front and then maybe go bargain bin shopping at running back a little bit like we have done in the past? But that is what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. Stay tuned. It's early in the offseason. It's not even technically the offseason with the Eagles and Chiefs set to square off on Sunday, but the rumor mill is swirling. So that is what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. Let's hear from you. If you haven't been subscribed yet, make sure you are doing so as well. And we will talk to you next time. And Fins